Hi, in this video we're going to talk about how to create a scenario. So we've logged into the mannequin. We choose the controlled session to create a scenario. We come to the left, go to the database. The first tab we see is scenarios and an overview of what exists. To create a new scenario, we're going to hit the add button. Scenarios are based on the initial state of the mannequin, what event you want that to take place in your training, and what new state the mannequin then goes to. The events or actions will get added by plus signs. So the easiest way to create this scenario is either on a piece of paper or collect it in your mind. We're going to name it. We're going to name this one SVT, or supraventricular tachycardia. In the description, our patient is in SVT. We're going to administer adenocard, 6 milligrams, and the mannequin's going to stay in SVT. No response. We're going to administer adenocard, 12 milligrams. And the mannequin's going to convert to sinus rhythm. So the easiest way to do this is to create all your states first and then come back and add the actions. So we're going to hit plus for the first state. The first state is going to be SVT. We choose SVT from the drop-down. We can choose whether we add a sound or not. The vital signs are attached to the particular ECG rhythm we chose, so these are what we would expect to see in SVT. You can also, as the instructor, change those on the fly and adjust them. So now we have that first one in. We hit add to go to the next state. In our scenario, our second state, there was no change when we did our first action. So our second is still SVT. So again, we choose it from the drop down. No sounds. We're going to hit add. And then the final state in this scenario is going to be sinus rhythm. We go to the drop down, pick sinus rhythm, the vitals changed, and now we have our 3 states here. So now we're going to come and pick our first state and we're going to add an action to it. You hit the action button. The first action is going to be adenocard, 6 milligrams. The trigger is we're going to use an event button across the top that we have added the adenocard. So we hit event as a trigger, and that value is the adenocard, 6 milligrams. And when we do that, our new state is still going to be SVT. So now we're going to add another action. That action is going to be tied to that state. The new action is going to be adenocard, 12 milligrams. The trigger is going to be one of the event buttons, and the value is going to be adenocard 12 milligrams, and the new state is going to be sinus rhythm. So now we're done. We've added this in, okay? So we have no more actions. We're going to come over to the left-hand side, pick our starting state, and hit save. It's going to tell us up here that the scenario was successfully saved. So now we can go to the overview. We've added that scenario. It's in the drop-down box. To see if we've successfully created a scenario that will work on this mannequin, let's go into a new session. Let's go to our scenario drop-down box, and our scenario, we want it to be the one we just created. That's SVT. We're going to use an AHA guideline. Duration will be, we'll say 2 minutes. We pick the AmbuMan Advanced Mannequin. Instructor 1. We're not really doing CPR in this scenario, although we could if we wanted, as the instructor, if you wanted that SVT to deteriorate into a shockable rhythm, we could end up having to shock and do CPR. We're not going to do that here. So we're going to hit start. When we hit start, it's going to take us to the session view. This is the instructor and what they're going to see. Here's our event buttons across the top. To start this particular scenario, we're going to hit the start button, and there's the mannequin in SVT, and you can see down here that the heart rate is 176, what would be expected. So we're going to check our patient, and as you can see, that dropped down into the timeline. And we know from our algorithm that we want to give adenocard 6 milligrams. So we hit the event button. Down here, it adds it to the timeline and date stamps it. We said nothing's going to happen, and nothing happened. So now we're going to go and give the second adenocard. It time stamps it, and now as you can see, the mannequin changed to normal sinus rhythm. So we're going to go ahead and stop this scenario, pause it, drops a date and time stamp here. Now to be able to see the training record, and as you note, when we went to normal sinus rhythm, the heart rate went from 176 to 60, and all of the vitals changed what we would anticipate for normal sinus rhythm. We're going to close the scenario. It's going to ask us, do we want to cancel that session? Well, yes, we do. It's now going to take us to the training record. And at the training record, the time, date and time stamped, the scenario, the algorithm we went against, the duration of training, the mannequin we used, who the instructor was, who the trainee was, and that we were in compression only mode. We can come down here and move to the beginning of the training. We can see where we started at SVT. We checked for a response. We gave our first adenocard. No change. We gave our second adenocard, and the rhythm then changed to normal sinus rhythm. Because this was not a CPR type scenario, The performance parameters for CPR were graded as zeros because we didn't do CPR. But we checked response, we gave Adenocard at 34 seconds, we gave the second Adenocard at 45 seconds. Here's a place for you as the instructor to type in comments, approve, sign it, and now you have the ability to either print it, save it to the mannequin, or in this case, we're going to delete it. Do you want to delete? Yes, we do. And this allows us to go back to a new session.